your name, yeah, your name, yeah, your name, yeah, your name, Jesus, your name, yeah, your name, yeah, your name, yeah, your name, Jesus.
I wanna learn this love like a lyric and let it change me, but not just in appearance. I mean internally, I mean eternally. Look how hard our hearts are. We all need surgery. I seek earnestly, fervently, urgently to be free personally, permanently, to know God horizontally and vertically, to the furthest degree, superlatively. And love is the love that leads me there. When I was lost, man, you ain't leave me there. Wherever I go, you go meet me there. Even in deep despair, how could you even care? This ain't even fair. All these weeks and tears, I denied you and lied to, even swear. Yo, even when I'm weak in prayer, he tell me cease to fear, because he died for a life that we can share. And where you are, we are seated there, so we don't want to front and we don't want the fame. Nah, we just want to magnify. We don't want to front and we don't want the fame. I said now we just want to magnify. I don't want to front and I don't want the fame. Nah, we just want to magnify. We ain't come to front, then we ain't come for fame. Nah, we just came to magnify your name, yeah, your name, yeah, your name, yeah, your name, Jesus, your name, yeah, your name. Yeah, your name. Sometimes I get caught up in the regimen, professing him in the excellence of his benefits. In a state of progression without lessening, I'm better than I ever been now. How could I ever sin? Weeks pass and the credit that I get from men got my commerce on the water and I ain't wetting them. Great rhymes, then your whole flow's heaven sent. The way that you develop and tell it, it's like it's effortless. You walk Christ-like, I don't see you ever limp. I take it with a grain of salt, but deep down treasure it. Look at my sacrifice, all that I left for him. Read till my eyes burn, pray till my flesh give in. I rest with sin, if I ever slip I confess to him. My blessings is the prevalent evidence, I'm impressing him. I ain't perfected yet, but yo, I go extra in. Credits his, subtly pride got me accepting it. Some love me cause I'm generous and just a bit. Christ loved me in depression and the pessimist. Lucifer said, could I be blind too? Help me comb every motive using the fine too. Lucifer said, could I be blind too? Help me comb every motive using the fine too. Some trust in chariots, some trust in horses. We will remember the name of the Lord is. Some trust in chariots, some trust in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord is. Some trust in Benzes, some trust in Porsches, but we will remember the name of the Lord is. Some trust in titles and things that are important, but we will remember the name of the Lord is Jesus. The heaven's blessing, the resurrection. Jesus, the hungry and lost, let him and fed him. Jesus, mountain mover, crown him ruler. Jesus, shaming the stones down from accusers. Jesus, giver of sight, river of life. Jesus, smite his left cheek, he give his right. Jesus, the only begotten, more than a prophet. Jesus, hell in the grave can't hold him hostage. Jesus, the living water, lamb brought to slaughter. Jesus, to whom grace has been brought. Jesus, sharing the burden, hearing the hurting. Jesus, from top to bottom, tearing the curtain. Jesus, the breathing Torah, the ear restorer. Jesus, to whom God's will is clearer for us. Jesus, mastered his flesh and gave that the credit. Jesus, the suffering shut-ins, a paramedic. Jesus, the leper cleanser, who represents us. Jesus, no name above that we can mention. We don't want the front, and we don't want the fame. Nah, we just want to magnify. We don't want the front, and we don't want the fame. Nah, we just want to magnify your name. Yeah, your name. Yeah, your name. Yeah, your name. Whose name? His name. Yeah, your name. Jesus, 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 your name. There's power in that name. Jesus, your name. There's power in that name. Jesus, your name. Amen.
We've rebranded it. It's called the who, what, why. The who, what, why segment.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. And you're on there. Yeah, the who, what, why. And really what we're trying to find out is who you are, and to borrow something from Mr. Tiop, which he says, you know, who the funk are you, basically. How the funk are you? You've got to be careful how you say that and where you say it. But I've been practicing. So we'd like to just know, you know, privately, just who you are, what you do, that sort of thing. And then the what is really about what you do for Jesus, and we've heard you've done some amazing stuff, mad stuff in New York, and we'd love to hear just a little bit about that, and then I'll ask you the why, the why. We need to know the why, about the what, and the who. So who are you?
Who are you, Damien? I am Damien.
Nice, good start.
Right. So I am just basically like a kid from Brooklyn who God has His hand on. You know, I had a crazy upbringing. I met Jesus at 17 when my life was really in the muck and the mire, and He introduced Himself to me not through theology but through love, and it's just something that I didn't. An emotion that I've never felt before flooded me when I just simply just said the sinner's prayer, and from then, it's been a battle to just sort of accept that love. The thing is, the world teaches that you have to earn love. You have to do this in order to get this, and then you bring that to God, and it's complete garbage. So, somebody made an interesting point about the disciples. They said that God, spent 3 years, or Jesus spent 3 years hollowing His disciples so that He could fill them in 1 minute with one breath. You know what I mean? Yeah. So most of our walk is just about us letting, unpacking, just garbage. And I had a lot, and still have a lot, but I decided that, I've loved hip hop, being in the heart of the city. I loved hip hop. I used to battle at some point, and then, it just. Why not use what God has given me to glorify Him? Yeah. It just has such a way to get to the youth, and beyond anything that I've been taught, I know it's a gift.
What about that?
Yeah, well, so the train is probably the best way to preach to multiple people at the same time. Obviously there's people all over the city, but on the train they're stuck with you.
Captive audience.
Right, at least until the next stop, they want to get into the next car, you know what I mean? That's it, but it's just...
Tempted to block the doors?
Actually, they advise you against that. You get a fine. The interesting thing is you get on the train and there's so many people with different attitudes. Everybody has somewhere to go. Everybody's in a rush. And then there's a lot of crazy people, so then you just sort of take the Hall of Fame as one of those when you open your mouth. That's the first thing that's going to God, they're all just going to think I'm crazy, and I am, but I don't want them thinking it. It's just an awesome thing to just to be able to connect with people, and obviously, you get some people that are really glad that you came. We're very glad that you addressed them, that you said. We know that you guys aren't really allowed to evangelize on the subway here.
We're not allowed to do anything here. We're just restricted.
But it's not like they appreciate that in New York either. But you have the b-boys that get on. You have the people that sell candy. Why not have somebody have a big mouth for Jesus? You know what I mean? So that's it. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Yes. And wow. So grew up in the Bronx. Grew up in the church till maybe around the age of 11 or 12, and then things just started to go left at home, and me and my pops kind of bumped heads, and I ended up leaving by 15, and I stayed with a friend up until my adulthood. I never went back home really. I did for a few years later in my mid-20s when my first son was born. But anyway, and God had been communicating to me throughout all the years in different ways, and people were praying for me, I'm sure, and all those things that I'm grateful for. But it really wasn't until, I guess, this is important, right? So I married the girl I was seeing in high school, and we had 2 kids, 2 beautiful children. I dropped out of high school. I was just in the streets, I was always doing hip hop, but I was also messing around with a bunch of other stuff that I should not have been. But God's mercy and His grace was covering me. And so dropped out of school, had 2 kids, got married, and obviously I wasn't serving the Lord then, so you could imagine what that looked like, trying to do love apart from God, trying to do marriage, a godly institution apart from God and family and all that. So we ended up getting divorced, and that was devastating. That was extremely hard. You know, it was very hard, and it's still hard because I still have to, you know, deal with the seeds that were sown in that. You understand? So anyway, so I moved back to my old neighborhood. I'm trying to get back on my feet, and I end up hanging out with. Am I going to talk too much? I'm sorry.
No, you
Yeah, Lord. Amen. God, keep me from sharing anything.
You've got to join all the dots and fill it all in now. We're intrigued.
Yeah. So I moved back to the Bronx, my own neighborhood. End up, you know, falling in love with a childhood friend. Actually, she and I were neighbors. My wife now. We were neighbors when we were kids, playing football, basketball, manhunt, tag, all that kind of stuff. And so we ended up hanging out and falling in love and getting married, which was wonderful. Again, God's grace and mercy, because I was sure, without a doubt, that there was no like restoration for what had been done in my life, like a normal, quote unquote normal family. I thought it was over for me in that regard. So that was wonderful. And so anyway, my little brother ends up getting saved. He was in his 20s.